Well, it is EThekwini Matters once again. My name is Msawake Maisela. Today we are talking transport, as we're only left with a few days or few weeks before we hit October, which is known in this country as Transport Month. That's why we thought that it is imperative that we invite the head of EThekwini Transport Authority, Ubaba Thami Manyathi, to discuss with quite a number of issues that have got to do with the means of transport and transport infrastructure. But Manyathi, welcome to EThekwini Matters. Good to have you.
Thank you very much, Sawa. Okay, and I'm really pleased that we're having this conversation.
Are you well?
I'm good. I'm in great shape.
Yeah,
so I can't complain really.
Yeah.
Work remains interesting.
I know.
Absolutely.
I know. Yeah. Tell us briefly, we're heading towards October, Transport Month. What plans do we have afoot with regard to this important month?
Okay. I think, look, as you've already indicated, in October nationally is an opportunity for all the transport departments and authorities, to showcase and highlight programs and activities aimed at improving transport in the country. I think as a city, we're part of that community as well. So there are a number of activities that are planned, for the month of October in the city. In the main, they're grouped around three themes. One is around advancing public transport.
True.
So we'll get into the details around Go Durban, Moja Cruise, and so on. And the second theme is recognizing that transport plays an important role not only in the economic development of the city, but also in the social development. So look, there are activities which we are continuing and new ones that we're initiating to push the issue of transformation and inclusivity as part of the development of the city. And then the third theme is around safety. And
true.
the importance of partnerships in advancing road safety.
And more especially, we're heading towards the festive season, and
Absolutely,
we know that our province is very prone to accidents.
Look, absolutely. I mean, post the flood disaster, in fact, the main corridor into the province and the city, that being the N3, has seen an incredible growth in the number of trucks that are on the road. So many of the people that would have used the N3 to commute will attest to the fact that it's become quite uncomfortable, because of the number of the trucks that are on the roads. But that is because of the infrastructure, rail infrastructure that got damaged in there. During the flood disaster.
Hey, we are touching one important thing of which I think we need to commend you as ETA. If you remember what happened during the floods, a disaster, more especially the harbour, whereby trucks could not get into the harbour, couldn't get out, and to a certain extent it was going to, harm the entire country. But we're very excited that you moved with speed to ensure that you resolve that particular challenge that we're having at the harbour.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one example, perhaps, from the whole experience that, I could point to as perhaps something that could be used elsewhere in how we perform and deliver as government. I mean, that would be the one. I mean, within a matter of 4 days. We in partnership with Transnet and so on.
Transnet,
we had gotten the handle.
I mean, those interventions are very commendable because the entire country was panicking. I mean, we were inundated with quite a number of questions. People fearing that there will be a shortage of food supplies and whatever.
And fuel.
Mainly,
Because that was the main.
But it was a miracle that in
Island
4 days' time you managed to arrest the situation, which is quite good.
It's just a demonstration of what we can do if we're all aligned and focused. But I think the recovery, though, broadly is taken a lot more time, and it does impact on how people commute and travel around. And in the issue of safety, it also has made it even more important in this year that we should highlight the safety issue.
The safety issues, yeah. True. We are talking about public transport. Yes, I know that everybody will be very interested to know where are we with regard to Go Durban, which is one of our flagship programs.
Absolutely.
In as far as public transport is concerned.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you bring up an important issue, which is one of the priorities for the city. Is to get the Go Durban program going. As you know, it is made up of a number of aspects: improvement of infrastructure, introduction of new integrated fare management systems, and so forth. And in the main, though, it is then bringing all of the affected operators together so that they can form vehicle operating companies, which then would run the services. In the case of the city, we've got 9 corridors that are part of the solution. And phase 1 deals with 4 of those corridors. One of the 4 being the rail corridor from Gomashu to Umlazi, Ilokisipingo. We have, as a city, in dealing with the 3 road-based corridors, we've done really well in terms of delivering the infrastructure, that is required. The right-of-ways, the stations, and so on. On the corridor between Bridge City and Pinetown, everything is in place.
Good work that we have done there.
So we think so.
It's quite good. We need to commend you for
we've even garnered a few awards for engineering excellence there. The one thing that is escaping us is clinching the deal with the affected operators. That we have tried a number of times, and in the 11th hour, we can't find each other. But
negotiations are continuing.
Well, since October last year, they haven't continued because I think last year, because we had the mayor and the city manager as part of the city team, but we still couldn't get it done. So what has happened then is that we've come up with a tactical, we call it a tactical adjustment. It's a slight change in how we are approaching the initiation of operations on the C3 corridor in particular. And council has approved the strategy that
this new approach,
this tweaked approach actually.
Because
because the program remains the same. But it's just about how we get everybody on board in order for the operations to move. And in October, most importantly, in October, we're going to be dealing with the stakeholder consultation around that. There have been some informal, consultations when we were putting it together before we even table it at council. And the stakeholders that we have spoken to, are comfortable with the approach. But we will see then what comes out when we consult formally. Now in the month of October. The one key stakeholder that I still need to convince about this new approach that is still not sold on it is our colleagues at National Department of Transport. But we believe that they'll get there. We're quite comfortable with what is proposed. And we believe that it will finally get us moving.
Is it possible for you to shed some light as to when is C3 is going to go live?
Okay, assuming that everything goes according to plan, and we finish the stakeholder consultation in October, we will then be going back to council in November. Reporting on all of the inputs that we would have received from stakeholders and the public, members of the public, because we're going to involve the public as well. And then from December and January, we will then be packaging the different contracts, because we're going to be using existing subsidized contracts in the city as a starting point. So we will be engaging with the current operators that are involved in those contracts, as well as all of the operators in the catchment of each of those contracts. So it is about bringing them together on the basis of existing contracts, and then we build in the future. So we're expecting that all of those preparations will be done by end of February, for the start to be beginning of March.
Yeah, that will be good news.
Well,
I think everybody's looking forward.
In fact, I think on the basis of us getting that moving, a bonus will be in order for me and my team for achieving that milestone. But I think it will be a cause for celebration for everybody in the city.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we need to get all these cars off our roads. Through public transport.
And it's become. I mean, I suppose, it's an environmental issue, but also it's an affordability issue. I mean, with the cost of.
I mean, if you look at the price of fuel, it actually compels us now to go straight to public transport.
Absolutely.
But how are we going to go there if it is not organized and safe and?
Absolutely, So I think through getting Eco Durban moving, that's going to be a massive achievement. But another exciting program that we're going to be expanding in the month of October is the Mojo Cruise program.
Mojo Cruise,
which is designed to incentivize the minibus taxi sector to improve the safety of their of the operations, and improve the customer care that is afforded to the passengers that use
because the majority of people anyway, we cannot deny the fact that they are using taxis for them to from point A to get to point B.
Absolutely,
So obviously customer care has to be encouraged at all costs.
Indeed. Safe driving, the training of the drivers and so on. All of that is involved in the program, and we're going to be expanding the number of vehicles that are part of the program.
Right.
Because up to now we ran the pilot with 500 vehicles, and there's been a bit of a lull between the conclusion of the pilot and then the big rollout. Whilst we were aligning a few things and getting the approvals from council. But everything is now in place, and we're good to go. And we're going to be increasing the number of vehicles. In the with the expansion to 1,000, and each financial year will then be growing the fleet or the beneficiaries in the program by 500 vehicles.
That's good.
So it's going to be good.
But I think we need also to touch on the issue of the entity. As per the council resolution, that is going to be tasked with, operating our buses. In simple terms, just explain that to us. But also, where are we? With regard to that process. Because it was announced.
Look, I think what we need to understand is that ultimately, in terms of the capacity to provide public transport in the city, it's going to be a range of players that are involved. I think the municipal entity that you're referring to is but one of the players.
Right.
We'll have that. We'll have rail. You've mentioned already the minibus taxi.
Taxis,
And I think as a city, we've got a lot of small bus operators as well. So I think when we look at improving public transport delivery in the city, it is about improving across the board. But specifically when it comes to the municipal entity, the municipal entity was approved to deal with the the services that are currently under the Durban Transport contract.
Yeah.
So currently there's a private operator that is running those services. The municipal entity then is designed to take over. And move forward. It's been a strange journey there as well. Because I think it was not just an issue of approving that a municipal entity be set up, but also aligning it with other initiatives for transformation, which then means that the city didn't want to end up with 100% shareholding in the municipal entity, but would wanted to also provide room for some of the existing operators to
as
also
part
participate.
Of transforming
exactly. So there is a 40% a 40% shareholding that was approved by council. What has been the latest stumbling block in that regard has been a difference of legal opinion now in terms of how that entity should be set up, given that it also allows for private shareholding. The question is, do you first identify who those public or private shareholders should be, so that when you incorporate the company, they are around the table as well, or do you set up a company with 100% shareholding by the city, and then you divest of the 40% afterwards. And initially we sort of went with that approach, but halfway through that process we were advised that 40% shareholding is not an insignificant stake in the company. So it is problematic that you would set up all of the rules for the company without the involvement of the minority party there. That is the one hopefully last outstanding issue that our legal colleagues are trying to assist us with.
So very soon it should be hopefully. I know this process takes a bit longer. But the reality is that the public out there, is waiting for this thing to take off the ground. So let's hope that as time progresses, eventually this entity is going to be set up because of the challenges that we have experienced in the past with regard to Durban Transport. Because as the city, we have got a responsibility that we meet the needs of all our residents in as far as public transport is concerned. So let's cross our fingers.
Absolutely. Well, actually, as officials, we should do more than cross our fingers. We're the ones that should be driving the actioning of these resolutions. It is indeed my hope, because as part of what I presented on earlier as an amended approach to getting the IPTN running. That entity and the Durban Transport Services are critical because it's the largest bus operation in the city.
It is.
So if we can get that and align that with the implementation program of the IPTN, we will gain great strides.
I see they'll also, you will be having the Built Environment Opportunities Conference and Exhibition. You want to tell us about that?
Well, that's one of the wild ideas that we've come up with, but it is part of our program to contribute towards transformation and inclusivity in the city economy. Because as many residents would know, there is often a struggle to deliver infrastructure projects in the city.
In the city,
because we haven't quite mastered the art of how we involve small ward-based entities in the delivery of these programs. So you then end up oftentimes with the projects being delayed for extended periods of time because there's protest either from the communities or other stakeholders, inclusive of the business forums. So what we are advancing, and I have to say we are leading as a transport authority, but we are seeing everybody in the city ultimately becoming involved in this. Is that we have to create opportunities or moments when we are able to unveil what is planned.
What is planned, yeah.
Be it in a particular financial year or in a medium-term expenditure framework as government.
Yeah.
But developers as well that are busy with infrastructure delivery in the city should come in.
Yeah.
Contractors that would be looking for opportunities will be there. Small, big, or whatever should be there. Professional teams should be there. And we should have conversations on how do we sustain the program of transformation.
Yeah.
Because if truth be told, we've tried different things, from the preferential procurement to the broad-based black economic empowerment and so on. But I don't think that we as a country can say that we've succeeded with the transformation. So this is another attempt that we say, I think for the city also, there's often an issue that the performance in the delivery of capital projects is often a struggle. Until the last few months in the year. We want to encourage more predictability in the delivery by encouraging smooth pipelining of projects and the stakeholders outside being ready to engage with our programs. That is what we are attempting to do with this opportunities expo, as we call it. Yeah.
But one thing, before I let you go, that I think you need to touch on. I mean, we've had quite a number of incidents whereby our buses have been stoned, have been vandalized, which is very worrying. I don't know what is that you would like to say to the public out there to assist in protecting these assets.
The availability of a bus means that a breadwinner at home will have the means to go from home to work and back. And in that way, be in a position to provide for the family. It means that a nurse, a police officer, and so on, that provides essential services, can get to where they need to get to, so that they can perform that service. Even the kids that need to go to school, rely on buses or public transport being available. So if the buses are vandalized, stoned, or in a few incidents, in fact, we've had buses being set alight. That means you are affecting not only just that bus, that operator, you are affecting the whole community. And it is about time that we realize that such destruction means that the limited resources that we have as a city, instead of progressing, we actually keep looking backward and fixing what has been destroyed. So it is really high time that as individuals, as communities, we realize that we have a role to play in advancing and in the development of the city. And destruction of property does not help.
It doesn't.
No.
One other thing that I think it's important to talk about is TOD. What's this in simple terms? Just tell us briefly about it.
Well, TOD stands for Transit-Oriented Development.
Right.
It's basically like a tool, a planning approach, which seeks to take advantage of the investments and the improvement of service that we achieve as cities in public transport corridors by densifying around the stations, the station precincts. We've been working with the UK Prosperity Fund to articulate what that will look like for the city.
Okay.
We are again, in the month of October going to be unveiling that because it is quite critical as we develop the different corridors,
right.
The Go Durban corridors, that we attend to the spatial transformation as well. And that is what we're bringing in with the TOD framework for the city. Okay. Which, unlike many other places, right, will emphasize community involvement in the development and the management of these precincts. Because oftentimes it's only just the businesses and so on that are key, but we believe that community involvement is critical, so that there's a sense of ownership that is developed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Except to thank you for the for the opportunity, and just say to everyone in the city to keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
To keep the faith. We're gonna get this thing right. Be it Go Durban, be it the transformation challenges and so on.
We'll get it right.
We're convinced.
Well, Manyathi, thank you so much for making some time to talk to us. Hoping to chat to you anytime soon.
Yeah. Look, I'm hoping it will be celebration time.
Well, that was the head of EThekwini Transport Authority, Ubaba Thami Manyathi, appealing to all of us to keep faith. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you do not miss the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.